So I guess better later than never. I'm too late, sorry. Let's do some updates. So we will continue on tracking the bug that I had. I thought I kind of fixed it, but it's not fixed. The problem here is with the shutdown tests. I had to dispose the client to actually so the server shuts down. I had to dispose the client. Before that, the server just waits to infinite amount of time. So I guess there's something wrong with the logic there, and I have to figure out what it is. Let's try this out. And then so this broke all other tests. But maybe, let's see if I can log stuff out. Here, logger, information. Say that JSON.RPC is complete. And before we finish, we could say build server exits like that. See if we can see something in the logs. Actually, there is nothing in the logs. No. Shutdown tests and remove this also here. I want to see what happens both of these tests in the logs. Okay. This cannot work because the logger actually writes to the host logger, and where does the host logger writes to? Programs, yes. So we set the logger to have the console logger. Fallback logger factory. Is this one, which adds to the console. That should be visible in the trace, I guess. Let's see in the build server host. This part before. Just see if we see it in the logs. If the logs are printed via this trace provider. So, okay, we see this here. Before complete. The build server host says it shuts down. This is not here, this is here. And this other stuff you would not see anyways. Avoid waiting or returning task representing work that was not started within your context, as that can lead to deadlocks. And this saw this log server initialized. So log server initialized. This was before. Okay, and it's fine. Let's move back. As I not wrote this code, I'm not that familiar with how it should behave. Actually, let's move it back here. Shutdown request. Down before waiting. Basic. this. Since previous server is an async method that returns task, a return keyword must not be followed by an object expression. When will we actually being asked to shut down the thing? Oh, cancelled. Server exit source task. Exit. Okay, I think. Reset, restart. Instead of tasks, we may not have finished processing the exit notification before a client calls to us asking to restart. Exit is a notification where client do not need to wait for a response. We could just turn this here as it was before. Avoid waiting. Awaiting or returning a task representing when that was not started with a new context. I'm wondering where the exception is catched. Like we have, or we should have, this exit, this one, the language server has not yet been asked to shut down or has not finished shutting down. So because it's a build server here. Or the base server. Speed base protocol. So just call it maybe just so. And this is thrown here. And this is called in this places. This is an invalid operation exception. And because this is running here, it's under this JSON-RPC library, and means JSON-RPC would catch this exception, I think. Shutdown request task is not completed. Okay. This is empty and this one should be thrown. Let's just throw here another exception just to see if this message is how it comes out to the output, or it's ever coming out. So this it is swallowed. Exception. So maybe we look up how this StreamJsonRpc does handle exceptions. Trace context. Let's see how to stream propagate trace context over JSON-RPC. StreamJsonRpc participates in and propagates trace context when the JSON-RPC activity tracing strategy property is set to an implementation of iActivity tracing strategy interface. Reviewing trace files is much easier, particularly when reviewing many files may spawn process and all machines when using tools such Service Trace Viewer. This viewer reads trace files written with the XML write trace listener. Okay, that's not that. Silent code. Exceptions. StreamJsonRpc handles all exceptions thrown by the server. Methods, future requests from the client continue to be served. This resembles an ordinary relationship between two objects in .NET. some cases you may consider an exception from the server method to be fatal and wish to terminate the connection with the client. This can be accomplished by deriving from JSON-RPC class and overriding the isFatal exception method such that it returns true for some subset of exceptions. When the method returns true, JSON-RPC will terminate the connection. The following is an example. So, okay, then this seems like a solution. Note that isFatal exception is invoked with an exception filter. Note that isFatal exception is invoked within an exception filter, and this will execute on top of the call stack that is throwing the exception. Note that isFatal exception is invoked with an exception filter, and this will execute on top of the call stack that is throwing the exception. It will throw because the server killed the connection. Responding to the unexpected disconnect. Inter-process communication can be a fickle thing. Network connections can get dropped, process can crash, etc. It's important that any JSON-RPC client or server is resilient in the face of dropped connection. If you need to take some action, if the connection unexpectedly drops, you can add an event handler to this JSON-RPC disconnect event. That's already done. This handler is provided the reason for disconnecting as well as any error details that are available, so they can be logged and appropriate remediation taken. When a client detects an unexpected connection drop, it generally can take either of two actions: report the failure to the user, optimistically attempt to restart the server, or re-establish the connection. Former is generally straightforward and low risk. The latter may be preferable in the connection is known to be unreliable. Okay, what's here? Server method continues to execute by default when connections are dropped. To abort the server methods when the connection drops. Server methods continue to execute by default when connections are dropped. To abort server methods when a connection drops. Each server method should accept cancellation token and periodically call both cancellation requested. Cancel locally invoked methods when connection is closed to true. Okay. Do I really have to override that? JSON-RPC. Setting to use for serializing deserializing exceptions. Can deserialize. Recursion limit. Hopla. So what do we have else? Exception strategy. Gets or sets a value indicating whether exception thrown by the RPC server should be fully serialized for the RPC client to then deserialize. Okay. It was the exception processing. Exceptions thrown by the server are serialized as the simple StreamJSon protocol common error data class, and the default error code is invocation error. The client experiences a remote invocation exception. The client experiences a remote invocation exception whose remote invocation exception deserialized error data property is the deserialized StreamJSon common error data. Okay. Exceptions thrown by the server are serialized via the iSerializable mechanism and captures more detail using the error code. Blah blah blah. These are deserialized with the original exception type as inner exceptions. Hi chat. Yeah, it's going well, I would say. We are getting near to the solution, I think. How are you? What's going on? StreamJsonRpc. What happens if I look at this plus here? Right before that, just trying out. Actual 0, expected 1. I'm doing well. I've taken a week off from work. Are you going on vacation or just relaxing? Disposing. Let's see on the initialize and I throw an exception that is locked. Valid operation exception. Just see if I wrote this one. Is this the same one? Seems like the same one. Okay, and 7 not initialized. Let's throw this one. This one should be locked. I cannot throw it there. It is in another package. But let's throw this one. Should be available. So local NPC exception, test exception. So nothing happens. Initialized. Actually, we should be there. So we could also just log it. Just to see if we get to that point here. Down triggered. This one and log the information. Just again this test exception. Anything that you can see in the logs. So this one is called but this invalid operation exception is just swallowed somehow. So maybe I will introduce a new type here. Just a public class of tell the exception. To just say derived from this class. So what? This primary constructor. Okay. And let's move this to an extra file. We will do here. As this is triggered, this is error. And let's throw the exception. StreamJsonRpc exception. So and now stated here, I have to override this fatal exception. Or I could also look up how it's currently implemented. Also interesting to know. Okay, it's just always false. Indicates whether the connection should be closed when the server throws an exception. Found from the server that is potentially fatal. Indicating if the stream should be closed. This method is invoked within the context of the exception filter or when a task fails to complete and simply returns false by default. If the process should crash on an exception, calling environment fail fast will produce such behavior. This method is invoked within the context of an exception filter or when a task fails to complete and simply returns false by default. If the process should crash on an exception, calling environment fail fast to produce such behavior. Let's see if you find this fail fast somewhere else also. It's just here and here. Process queue, I think. Now let's try this. Actually, should do the same as I was trying to do, I think. And new exception. What's this called? Invalid operation exception. New invalid operation exception. Let's see. This does the trick. $134. At least we have something. There is also an overload. And there's 2 overloads. Message and a message and exception. Immediately terminates a process after writing a message to the window application event log. Then it includes the message and exception information. System environment, fail fast. Environment, fail fast. Like that. Never used this class before, never heard about it. Immediately determines the process before reporting an error message. For Windows, the error message is written to the Windows application event log, and the message and optional exception information is included in error reporting to Microsoft. For Linux systems, the message alongside the stack trace is written to the standard error stream. Remarks. Use the fail fast method instead of exit method to terminate your application if the state of your application is damaged beyond repair. And executing your application, try final blocks and finalizers will corrupt program resources. Not sure if this is the correct approach to enter the application. Calling the environment fail fast method to determine the execution of an application running in Visual Studio. Debug a frozen exception. Execution engine exception, and automatically triggers the fatal exception engine error managed debugging assistant. exit code. I believe the reason for this is described here. Seek a board handler. So I think there is no easier way. I have to override this class or this function there. This direction. Let's do it also here. Just add the public class. Paste JsonRpc. Here JsonRpc. Create constructor. And the message handler can be also passed in. I'll move this to a new class. So this, remove this, and in the base JsonRpc, if exception is a null exception, then we'll return true, and also return false. This can be simplified. Okay, this makes sense. Base protocol structure. Yeah, that's fine. And now on the build server host, that's in the JSON-RPC. Okay, with a message handler, so I have to change. So maybe I just remove this part. I generated the regular constructors for that. Yes, BuildServer host. BuildServer.rpc. This is one handler only, so let's introduce the other one here with the message handler. Sherich, hi. Welcome back. How are you? You're interested in what? About Cosmic? Ah, okay. Yeah, then question would be, which distro do you want to try it on? No, I hadn't any crashes, but I must admit I'm not using it that often. I just using it now for streaming, and you see most of the time I'm just here in my terminal, so I don't do that much of different other stuff. Like yeah, I'm not using it that much. So it could crash if I would use the other stuff all the time or something like that. So this is maybe why it's not crashing on my side. It is smooth, it's fast. But yeah, just try it out, I think. If you have a VM or something, then you can maybe try it on a VM or dual boot it, or just try it on another machine. if it fails, so you don't disturb your work or something. Yeah, just thinking if there is already something for Nix OS. Cosmic 76. I thought they had somewhere Nix OS instructions. So I'm Fedora guy and I'm Atomic user, but if you are familiar with Nix OS, maybe you try it there. So it seems like it's possible. And I never tried NixOS. Is it like if it fails, you can just go back and remove it? Without any like leftovers on your system? Yeah, outside of the stream, I use mainly Sway VM, but I don't have that much time to do other stuff than a little bit developing on the side, and yeah. It works for me, yeah. Yeah, in which way it's different? Can you explain it? Shutdown triggered by JsonRpc disconnect. Exceptions thrown by the server are serialized as a simple class and the default error code. The client experienced a remote invocation exception, whose remote invocation exception deserialize error data property is a deserialized streaming common error data. Oh, that's kind of tough question. It's not even FHS. What's FHS? Oh, okay. That's completely new to me. FHS Linux. Okay. FHS Linux. S, I mean S. File system hierarchy standard. Okay, so it has a different file layout. Mm-hmm. I see. Not yeah, it's actually not bad to change that, because I think the Linux distros like Fedora are also trying to change it a little bit and get rid of the old folders that we don't need anymore. Like, there is no benefit in some of them. I think it was it user bin, or so there was also this initiative to combine user bin and user s bin. So you need to have packages for everything. Yeah, I also heard that to be able to get the reproducibility, if you install the packages, they have to build everything from scratch and also sometimes patch the software to remove any parts that could change the output. Like if you would generate date somewhere in the binary and it would change for every build, then they would have to patch it out. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but just read about that somewhere. And this is kind of huge effort to do it for every package. Nix packages of flakes. I think the concept is really interesting, what they're doing. Packages. What's flakes? Are they called flakes? Or is it something else? Mm-hmm. What are flakes? I need a short answer. Flakes versus channels. Flakes is lacking. There are guides that would help clarify the fundamental concept. Flakes and channels are orthogonal. If you use one, you probably don't want to use the other. On my machine, I don't have channels. as input plus flake lock is analogous to channels. Flake update. There is no package in Nix repos. You need to build a package via flake or use already written flakes. Oh, it's something like on the Fedora you have copper, something like that, like a package repository that is provided by someone. Yeah, but copper is something like that also. You can have also multiple packages in one copper. It's like the package repository, kind of, I would say. This is only one package here, but they can be multiple one, like for Cosmic. Nah, there it is. Yep. So if you import this copper, then you can download all the packages from there. Oh, I see, like a package definition file. In a flake, you specify depths for a package to build it like package build. Okay. Interesting. There is even a flake lock, but this lock would mean for one package. So you define in a flake like how to build that package, and all the dependencies are kept in the flake lock, so it's reproducible, and you have like hash equal dependencies if you try to rebuild. Yeah, okay, I understand. Yeah, there are many concept like this concept of locks, log files is pretty heavily used in package manager, also in neovim, like in the lazy package manager, there is also a log file. It's basically the same concept. .NET has also log files. That's why all NixOS people use flags in their configurations. Okay, let's see. But would you reference the flake in your configuration also with a flake hash that is describing the version of this flake? Or where are the log files are kept if you try to restore your system to that state? Oh, so it's one file, okay. I thought initially it is per flake. But this is kind of flake log for your whole configuration, right? And every update of your system gonna change this file. It sounds really interesting. Maybe I should give it a try. Maybe in one of the streams. Nix flags provide a standard way to write Nix expressions and therefore packages. Whose dependencies are version pinned in a log file, improving reproducibility of Nix installations. I see. Do they have also container images? Just wondering, because this sounds also really nice if you could do this kind of stuff in container. To be able to reproduce always the same result. If you hash the base image where you are based on and have the same log file, then you can reproduce the container bit by bit. I mean, just for cloud native stuff, most people use containers and some orchestrator. Most of them use, I think, Kubernetes or something. And to be able to reproduce the container exactly as is would be a nice idea, because you can write a like container file or Docker file, but what you do most of the time there with the run command is downloading something and executing it, and it's not guaranteed to be the same all the time when you build the container image. Even if you have the same base container and you run commands here, most of them will produce different results depending on when you build the container image. And having something that is independent of that problem and can really have the same output for each run command, like if you have a log file and you restore your environment here with Nix and have exact the same files always when you run it here, would be nice, because you then can reproduce stuff better in case you have to hotfix production releases. You can have a whole NixOS configuration and build it on a fresh installed NixOS ISO. Yeah, but like building a container is much easier and simpler. And most of the time you have already the tools for that. But I think this seems like it's possible. I have to try it out. To see for certain. I mean, I can do the same with layering. So if I would just have a base image that I built and then build on top of that and only put in the binaries that I need, would have the same reproducibility as long as I have the image in my container registry and stuff. But yeah, it would be just another idea how you could create reproducible content inside of the container. So, but back to my problem here. So it kind of works, but it gives a different exit code than I would expect. Maybe I have to do it differently now. Let's see. That's fine. That's also fine. I would throw StreamJsonRpc exception, but would do this part here. Try it again. Both of them cancelled. Task. So maybe look here in the programs. Yes. Let's do this part. Also here. Just trying to find out where the exception is thrown. If we could catch it to get the specific exit code we need. So this one is not catched. So we raised the exception in here. And let's say local RPC exception. Just to see if it behaves differently, if it works, that we catch it. Task was cancelled, yes, and we move it to Fatal. Then we get the exit that we wanted, but with a wrong return code. Error code. So this error code is not used anywhere. Is fatal exception. Where's this handled? Here, so we have the dispatch incoming request. I want to see if we will write it somewhere. So at the end, if this is not fatal exception, then it's handled here. It's fatal exception, it's thrown IO. Finally, local method cancellation source. Disconnect. Okay. So here we don't catch anything at that point, but we catch here. Catch an exception, and we say disconnect. Fatal error, raise disconnected event. If you extracted this callback from the collection already, take care to complete to avoid hanging our client. If we extracted this callback from the collection already, take care to complete it to avoid hanging our client. So it calls the exception there. And it writes in the event args. Unexpected error processing JSON-RPC. An error raise. Is disconnected? Completion handler. Protected virtual on response received. More core. Trying to find a place where I can hook in and just quit this JSON-RPC handler and return the one exit code 1. Create error details. Completion handler, outstanding call data. Disconnected reason parse error. Is this true? So it should be here if this one throws. Then we go into this one. It says fatal error because with parse error. Which was is not true. Let's see. We search for the completed. Transmission. This task will be completed when the response object comes back from the pipe. StreamJsonRpc disconnected, shut down. What was that here? JSON-RPC completion task. Survey completion. All words. The completion source behind completion. Completion source. Oh, I can set also an exception on the completion source. Would this be something? Try set exception. Disconnected event arcs. I'll try this out. If we say the server exited source, try set exception. Let's call it exception here for now, and throw it here. Which is not allowed in this context. Yeah, it's not finished yet. So we try to fill the exception there and there. Back. So let's try this out. Nice. And then so try selection. I think I have to reflow it multiple times. But now at least it exits with a 1. So I think I can remove the changes here. Because I could just this part to the top. Because we will need this part. So we can lock. And so I don't think we, with this approach, we won't need this specific class here. And just use JSON-RPC. Let's test it again. Yeah, that's fine. So we could remove that one as well. This one. And this one. So and I use it here. So let's it goes invalid operation exception, I think. Let's test again. So it looks quite good. Let's remove this. Now also let's try to use this part if this is still needed. So async, if I could let it in here to so okay, this is a needed change, definitely. Just wonder if I ever need this, or I can merge this build server and build server host here. for now, maybe first just again. So this works now. So we can add those changes. Remove actually the disposes here. Don't need that anymore. This and this part. Just read again here. Wondering if I read it correctly, that the application exits. The server should exit with a success code 0 if the shutdown request has been received before, otherwise with error code 1. A notification to ask the server to exit its process. So actually, yeah, the process should return then the success code. So I think I did understood it correctly. But we can also look here up. Updated. Date test suite here in the BSP test kit. Let's an exit code up. So this is the response error code, response error exception. For initialization server response with an error. Initialization succeeds, server exits with 0 after shutdown request. So this is the session restart. So closes, okay. Yeah, that's fine. So I think I did implement it correctly now. Server exit with 0 without initialization. No build targets are returned if the client has no capabilities. Reload request works if is supported. Target sources list is empty if given no targets. Why should I even do that? Dependency sources list is empty if given no targets. If supported. Dependency sources list is empty if given no targets. Dependency modules list is empty if given no targets. Resource list is empty if given no targets if supported. Clean cache method works. Output paths list is empty if given no targets if supported. Voyage task starter should be a task finish for compile request. Which task starter should be a task finish for test request. So origin should match in test params and test result. Clean cache method works. So some of them I could implement, I think. And yeah, I'm happy that I get it working now. Again, that's fine there, fine here. Let's check it in, fix. Yeah, fix tests. So now that we have those tests, could actually move on with the tests for different remote interfaces here or endpoints here. We were here on initialized shutdown will exit, like the life cycle stuff. Workspace build targets I already added, a basic one. So not initialized. So here, this is the workspace. Build target. Remote invocation exception. Okay. So this is when I forgot to initialize then after initialize success. So basically this part, maybe copy it there and call it initialize tests. Initialized tests. Copy this one and place there. That's it. So in here I could use this part on initialize async. So basically always initialize here with that. Always shut down. So that I don't have to check this part. And only write the requests that are with different endpoints with features. So with life cycle tests out of the way, it's actually done that. We do here the call with the wait workspace build targets and then build targets here and got a cert here already. How many we have? I thought I had it somewhere already. This, yeah, and I had it. So this one we can move here. Basically the one that I wanted to write now. This is not the range. We have it already at the top. So do this request and then we say there are 6 of the targets. And we could assume more here or assert more here. say recent space build target reset. Only the targets there. And if we take the first the ID something say URI equals something our first target and then we should write what we expect from it. Say a display name, I don't know, this one. And now we just take the first one and see what the test is providing us. Environment variables. The first one was the ASP.NET example solution ID. The message would be equal to solution. This is the what was this build server tests, line 44, display name, so ASP.NET example solution would be the display name. And the ID would then be something like file I think it's a full qualified name. I mean not fully qualified name, I mean the whole path. This should have the whole path in it. URI Just the string. Yeah, that's actually would be then hard to guess. But no, for the tests we should be able to find out. The root folder where the solution file should be located. And from there we could add the rest. So we have the test helper here, test project path. So I could combine this one with test project path. Should be like this. And what we could add here also is assert multiple do we have else there? Blah. Base directory. Data kind dependencies. For the solution file, we could also look at dependencies. Could look at tags. But first, maybe base directory, which should be just this one. Right. Also URI with the string. Possible null reference. Yeah, but this should not be null reference for us. But we could also just check that it is not null. Not null. First. And then check this. Nice. Do we want else to check here? Maybe the capabilities for the solution. means we can run it and we can no, we cannot run the solution. We can compile and we can test it. We cannot debug because we cannot run. So let's say can compile true. True also for can test. And false for can run. False for can debug. Wrong. Value differ on line 40, no, 52. Let's actually here. Thought there's something like description or something. Or message. Do we have there? Shell comparer. Comparer. Precision. Tolerance for that. It's a pity. I thought I can just add here something. So when it fails, that it actually shows a message. So X unit equal a message and fail. Okay. Like flint assertions, or create your own assertion that wraps as a true or as a false, which were left with their message overloads. Was mentioned further down. Okay, the extent, the asserts. Yeah, while this is enough, it's pretty noisy to do it for every assertion. Okay. Strange. Yeah. Maybe I should use Fluent Assertions then. Let's go back to the error messages. 52. 52 would be can run. Can I run it? Really? So if we go to our test projects, ASP.NET, and then .NET run. So .NET run. Then we say the solution file. No, you cannot. You have to pass a project, so you cannot run the solution itself. So that's a bug then. Workspace, targets, handler. This part. For the solution. Can compile. Can compile, can debug. False, and can run also false. That's nice syntax. I have to use that more often. So like that, then move this part, run the tests again. So maybe I could say, let's say true here. Can I provide? Ah, now I can provide the message. can compile. True. Test. And false. That and false also for this one. Can run. Can do that. Let's see how it looks in the console. In the output. Expected true, actual false. Message failure. Or okay. But here. That unit test. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not in the right project. It was in the test project. No, it's fine. And if I do here, let's say true or set it here to true, just to see how the message would look like with this new description parameter. The message can debug. Okay, so I have to say can debug is false. Is true. It's true. Here it is false. Here is remove this for now. Test can capabilities finished now. Data kind language IDs. Contains section here. Let's say I think it was C# or something. Read-only collection. Yeah, okay. This is here. equivalent, whereas the two objects are equivalent using a default comparer. Match whereas that the string matches the regular expression. How to compare two collections. Max unit compared to collections. And the sections, okay. I recognize collections, so you just need to equal. Okay, let's just do this. Equal. And tags. And there are also tags. Then they call build target tag. Build target tag. So this is basically did I add there something? It's not a test, it's not a library. I think I didn't add anything to this. Yeah, that's right. Something else. Property, language IDs we have. Base directory, we have also capabilities, display name. Only this data kind and data, which both should be empty. And then we could also check for the dependencies, which is a bigger thing to check. So let's leave it out for now. Check the other ones. Data should be null. And should be also null. The kind are both nullable. They should be also null here. Okay. I think I'm done for now. Let's continue in the next stream. Maybe let's just also push it. Vector tests. So yeah, see you in the next stream. Bye everyone.